This is a video tutorial about implementing Lansweeper System virtually. The system used for deploying applications automatically and distributing software into client machines. And now I will show you the design architecture of the system. This is the Lansweeper System architecture design. We have the main Lansweeper server, the SQL server with the database, the main controller, and the client PC. The main Lansweeper server hosted a web console installed under the web services IIS, and also it needs the DNS server installed. So this is on one side, and I installed the SQL server with the database in another side, and it should be connected to the main Lansweeper server. I mean, the main Lansweeper server and the SQL server should contact with each other. And mainly we should have a domain controller to control all of the services of the system and make it easier for the system to detect all the network devices connected to the same domain, which is adateam.com. And lastly, we have the client PC to test all the services on and make sure it's running successfully. So now we will configure the main server with installing Windows Server 2012. Here, the first page, we choose the language, and then we click on install now. Here we put the product ID of the Windows Server, and we select the GUI option here, and we have to accept the license, and we select the disk that we're allocated in, and we wait for the installation to complete. And in the end, this is the main server desktop running Windows Server 2012. We join the server to the domain. We change the name optionally, and we have to install the web services, the DNS, on the main server with their features, of course. There was an error when installing the DNS server. It requires a static IP address, so I put an IP and install it again. Also, I had problems with connection problems, so the solution was to change the adapter to NAT. This is the main server manager window with the roles required and installed on the server. The DNS and the IIS. So we run the IIS manager console, and from there we add the lansweeper.com to these sites in order to be running successfully. Also, you can see the Lansweeper site added at the left pane. And here we added the Lansweeper to the trusted sites from the internet option. And now we will run the Lansweeper system on the main server. From the lansweeper.com, we install the Lansweeper system. This is the setup wizard, the first wizard for installing the system. And we have to accept the license, the agreement. Here we choose the installation method. I chose the advanced install because I want to run the server separately. So I click on the SQL compact, and I use the new Lansweeper server and the website to control the other servers and clients from the main server, from the main Lansweeper server, which is this server running now. Here I chose the advanced option to run the Lansweeper website under the IIS, and I choose the website HTTP port of 81. And here we save the file into the program files, I mean the Lansweeper server. And after installation, you can see the Lansweeper web console appears on the desktop. From another side, we will install the SQL server using the same Lansweeper system. It can install it automatically on any server we choose. So we choose the SQL server and the database and the service, but we don't need to the console because it's just running on one server only. Here we can see the SQL server configuration and the database configuration, and we click to next. And this is the installing wizard of the SQL server running on the SQL server. Now we will prepare the client machine. We install Windows 7 Professional. After installation, this window appears. We have to access to the client PC. From the client PC, we go to the control panel, System and Security, System, and change settings. And we change the name of the PC if possible, and we join it to the domain adateum.com. Then we move to the domain controller, and we should install the Active Directory domain services on the domain controller. And then we navigate to the Active Directory users and computers from the tools menu, and we should add all servers and clients that are joined to the domain in order to be detected by the Lansweeper system. Now we will switch to the Lansweeper main server, and we will run the web console. This is the first wizard. The system will scan the IP ranges, and we enable the settings to perform the scanning on computers, and we write the administrative credentials to perform computer scans and detection. Here the scan is established, and this is the dashboard of the system where we will control everything from this point, as you can see. And now the system is ready to be tested. We will move to the assets, and here we can see all the network devices detected by the system connected to the same domain. We will perform the first feature, which is a scanning. We can choose any target computer or server to scan, and we can also schedule scanning anytime on any days we need. This is after scanning. We can see the client PC is scanned appropriately. And now we move to the main part of the system, which is deployment. And here are some packages enabled that we can use if we need to perform any of the results. We chose kill Chrome process, and now we will make the package. But first we have to install Google Chrome on the client PC and run it. Now we'll deploy the package. From the Add Steps button, we select the package name and the parameters, and we click OK. And now we select the target computer, which is client PC, client computer, and we run the package. Meanwhile, we will notice at the same time that the results is successfully configured as the Chrome is shut down. And here is the result on the log events on the system. We can see that the results are successful on the client computer. Now we will move to another feature, which is running scripts on the client computers for deploying changes. I chose the script of changing the wallpaper on the client computer, and I set the parameters and I apply it to the client PC. And now we will use another feature, which is installing and deploying softwares on the client computers. I chose to deploy the Adobe Reader software, so I have first to install it on the main server of the Lansweeper system. And now we add the package for the installer, and we set the name of the package and the description of it. And we have to make sure that the package is enabled and we are ready to add the steps to run the package. So the first step is to check the existence of the file on the main server by writing these parameters and I click OK. And the second step is to set the parameters to install the Adobe Reader. We deploy it to the target client PC. Another good feature of Lansweeper System is that it created reports of the assets, what's missing in the assets, and the errors, the logs, the events, and everything. Now we'll talk about some of the issues that I faced through the usage of Lansweeper System. For example, here, as we can see, our PC unavailable and the Bing failed. These issues are, I found a solution for these issues. First, for the RPC server, on the client's machine, I have to start the RPC on the services. And then to disable the firewall on the client PC, enable to be connected to the server. And I downloaded the test connection application from Lansweeper official website to test the connection to the assets or clients, and to also check the errors and the ports opened or closed. So it's very useful application to use for the network.